started. We're going to start with the heavy lifting. So next slide, please. We have a guest speaker from Reminder Media. Is Nolan on the call?
I am. Hey, Simon, how you doing?
Hey, really good. How you doing?
Yeah, I can't complain at all. It's another beautiful snowy day here in Pennsylvania, so at least you guys are cheering me up a little bit.
Well, I hate to be in Pennsylvania right now. Our weather is probably around 80 degrees out here today in Southern California.
Yeah, there you go. Rubbing it in as you guys always do. No, that's good. I'm glad for you. I had a few slides I was going to share. Will that work okay, Simon?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, let's see if this will pop up for
you.
you.
So if Natalie can help you with that. Awesome.
Awesome. Looks like we're ahead of the game. Is this showing up okay? Can you guys see this all right?
We can see it.
Beautiful. Yes. So first things first, we appreciate you. Simon, thanks for letting us jump into this meeting. I'm going to keep things fairly brief. So if you guys have some questions, you'll have some time to do that. But in case you don't know us, just for introduction's sake, my name is Nolan Pierce. Our company is Reminder Media. I'm one of the marketing coordinators here. We work with a good handful of you, some of those current, some of those in the past. But we've been in business since 2004. Our biggest focus is real estate. So we help a lot of different professionals, but real estate's by far our biggest. And to be more specific, this is really where we focus as a company. We're really big believers that if you are brand new, you've been doing this forever, you're doing great, you're having a rough year, anywhere you're at in your career, your ability to generate referral business and then bring back repeat business down the road is probably the best indicator of how well things are going for you that we have, okay? So a couple of numbers from the National Association of Realtors just to illustrate this. I'm not going to bore you with a ton of data, but they say 53% of buyers last year and 67% of sellers found their agent either because they got referred to them or they already knew them. They already worked with them in the past, okay? So I'm showing you this because that's obviously the majority. The majority of people have some relationship that's causing them to go, all right, this is the agent that we're going, this is who we're working with, all right? Now I'm gonna give you as a pop quiz so you can unmute on this part. This is always fun. What percentage of sellers would you guess come instead through some internet source? So they found their agent on Zillow, Realtor.com, Facebook, Google, all those things combined. What percentage of sellers would you guess found their agent there? I'll give you 10,000 points if you get this right.
10.
10, it's a good guess. What else we got?
40.
40 is another good guess. Anybody else? Any last takers for the points? They're still there. If you want them, you can have them. Okay. The answer, drum roll, is 5%. 5%. And this is a number from NAR. This isn't like a number I made up out of thin air. Here's why I show this. Some of you just had a little jaw drop like, wait, I thought that's where all my clients were going to come from. But the reality is that's not where most people find their agent. That's where they shop properties. So you can even use me as an example. I'm 27. My wife and I just bought our first home a little less than a year ago. Again, I'm not out in your sunny part of the country, so I couldn't have used you, so don't be mad at me, okay? But the point is, yeah, when we were looking at homes, yeah, we looked online. We were Googling around. When we wanted to find an agent, we wanted to have some trust with that person. And so we did what everybody does. We asked friends, neighbors, family. We asked people, got a short list, chose an agent, okay? So this, if you've been doing this long enough, this is obvious. This is where most of your business should come from. So this is the last stat I'm going to show you. Where is your budget going? If that's right, if you know most of your business comes through your network, does your budget reflect that? The answer is no for most people. NAR says the average agent literally does not spend any of their money on building relationships with clients. That sounds a little bit off. Part of that is because things like postcards, flyers, emails, stuff that every single agent's doing, every single business is doing, that's not getting included here. They don't count that as relationship building. And I think that's fair because we all get a lot of those things. In terms of doing something different for the client that they aren't getting from 5 other directions, most agents literally don't do anything like that. And that's not a dig. That is, to me, I think that's a function of how busy you are in most cases. You've got all these clients that need your attention right now. Sometimes the ones from 6 months ago, 2 years ago don't get the attention. This is what happens though. And you've all experienced this if you've been doing this long enough, right? One of your clients, one of your neighbors, one of your friends, you go on the MLS, you're driving down the street and you go, huh, that property is listed and it has someone else's name. And now I feel like someone's twisting the knife. I don't like this feeling, right? This is what we want to avoid because that's really a commission check someone else just got and that you missed. And this is our fix. This is our solution to this problem. We believe this is mainly about people. It's mainly about having good relationships. If you can show your clients that you care about them, you think about them, they're not just a commission check, you want wealth. They know people. They know 5 other people every year that are either going to buy or sell. There's opportunities there. It's just whether or not they're coming to you. That's really what it boils down to. And so that's why you're going to hear me continue to harp on your sphere of influence, your past clients, because we know if you connected those people the right way, well, great, there's tons of opportunity and you won't be sitting around waiting for business. So why am I here? How do we help? What do we do to help with that? These are the main 2 things I'm going to be showing you today. The first is the American Lifestyle magazine. Let me see you nod your head if you've ever heard of that one before, if you're familiar. Okay, a couple of yous. And then
Yes.
the newer one here is called Start Healthy magazine. So here's the deal. They are the exact same thing when it comes to the price, the quality, the layout, customization, all that stuff's the same. The only difference is what we put in it. So American Lifestyle is going to be geared a bit more toward design for the home, leisure, travel, arts, those types of things, like a lifestyle magazine. It's in the name. Start Healthy, again, it's in the name. It's all about health and wellness. So that's going to be more workout tips, eating right, taking care of your body, being active, taking care of your mind. So whichever one you like better or your clients like better, you can use. You can even switch between them as you work with us. That's easy. But we just want to do something that actually stands out to your clients. And then I'm just going to show you a finished product here. Simon, did that drag over? Can you see this sample I just pulled across?
Yes, I can see it.
Beautiful. So anywhere you see this agent's information, that's where we're going to have you guys. Okay. So we do your headshot, contact info, logos, all right there, right on the front cover. So it's really clear when someone gets it out of the mail. Oh, this isn't just an ad. This, okay, it's coming from somebody I know. And then there's about 30 different cover options. So you can pick whatever you want. If you don't like this garden bed, okay, there's plenty of things you can choose from, but find something that fits you. And then just to open it up here, you'll see there's a little letter right on the inside of the front cover. Simon, maybe you can help me with one other thing. The group that you've got on here today, it's a good sized group. Is this mainly seasoned agents? Do you have a lot of newer agents? What's kind of the blend that you've got?
It's a combination of both seasoned and also newer agents.
Okay, cool. So a bit of both.
Yeah.
So those of you who've been doing this for a while, you can customize this down to different individuals if you want. You don't have to, but different groups of people or different individual clients, you can write them their own little personal note. If you're newer, we do have a new agent program. I won't go all in the details now, but part of it is use this to paint your value prop. Who the heck are you, right? How long you been in the area? Why'd you get into real estate? What's your background? Help people get to know you more than just a face and a name. That goes a really, really long way. And then just to flip through the magazine. Okay, you're going to see a couple of these pull-out cards, one here in the front, one in the back. That'll have your info. And then usually recipes and drink mixes tend to be popular because people keep that stuff on the fridge. But again, there's tons of templates, what you want there, just so they can keep you around the house a little longer. And then just to go through, like I said, it's 48 pages, so I'm not going to painstakingly go through every single article. But so you can see the quality, kind of the look and feel of what we produce. Like I said, we've been doing this for a while, so we've kind of figured out how to make these things look pretty nice. That's kind of the whole point. And we try to make it pretty broad. So no matter who gets it, there's something for anybody. I don't really care if they read the whole thing. I just care, do they like it enough where they're going to keep it around? So we mix it up. Okay. I'm going to skip over some of this and jump all the way to the very back cover. The entire back, inside and out, is yours. So we can do whatever. We could do just sold listings. We could do testimonials, market updates, tips for first-time home buyer. We could do anything you want. Okay. But the point is, we want to make this easy for you, really, really nice for the client. So when they get something from you, it's not just getting passed over like a lot of the stuff your competition's sending out there, and it's actually making a difference for your business. Okay. So that is the magazine. The only other thing I'll say before we get to questions, and I'm going to shoot myself in the foot and just give you the hard part of my job. Okay. Here's the hard part. You guys hear of like hundreds of these ideas per week. That's why some of you are probably multitasking and zoning me out a little bit. I forgive you. That's okay. Here's the thing. Here's why I think you should pay attention to this one. Most of those ideas fall on one side of the spectrum or the other. So stuff like taking people out to dinner, giving them bottles of wine, giving them movie tickets, gift card. I love these things. If you try to do that for every client every quarter, and that's your consistent touch, you're going to be spending a lot of time and a lot of money, more than most people I talk to want to spend. Okay. The other side of the spectrum is if your only follow-up that you're doing is, oh, I send out a postcard once a month. I do an email blast. I'm not saying those things are bad. I think those things are great. But the reason agents add us on is because of our shelf life. We've seen that we're typically going to sit around the home about 3 to 4 weeks sitting around. And I think that sounds small. I think that's really important for 2 reasons. One, you stay top of mind. I've been on a few of these meetings with you guys now, and I know you talk about that a lot, staying in front of the clients. This does that exactly for you, where you're not getting forgotten when real estate comes up. And the other thing is, let's be honest about this. You look really good on this thing. You got a lot of competition out there, and this is just one small way to differentiate yourself and show you take your business seriously. Show you're someone that can be trusted to walk through that process and leave the clients really happy. So that is what we do. I have, Simon, I think I've got 2 more slides with basically just the pricing info. Besides that, wanted to see what else. Any questions from anyone on here about customization, timing, content, anything at all? What do you guys have in terms of questions?
I have a question. How often do you deliver those magazines? Do you have a limitation of how many do you have? And where obviously the price, you're going to provide the price.
Yeah.
But how often do you, do you circulate those?
Great question, Rosie. We do a new magazine every 2 months, so 6 issues per year. And you get to choose down to like the specific weeks on when you want those delivered. So you can time that out with what you're doing. And our minimum is only 50 copies. So you can go pretty targeted. And you can do as many as you want. I'm not stopping you there, but 50 is our starting point, and you can go from there. And I'll go over the pricing that entails in just a minute. Yeah, great question. Anyone else? What else? What do you guys have in terms of questions about it? Or any of you that are working with us want to share your 2 cents on your experience?
So are you a competitor with American Magazine?
I don't know American Magazine.
Okay.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Oh.
Any other questions, folks?
Okay, let's get to the pricing.
Yeah,
probably all waiting with bated breath to find out how bad I'm going to hurt you.
Drum rolls, right?
Yeah, that's right. So here's what we're looking at, okay? There's 2 things that go into our cost. The first is upfront, you pay an activation cost with us. If you're sitting there Googling us, you've already seen it's $299 to sign up. As a little thank you to Simon for letting us jump in here, we're dropping that to just $99 so he can get a little woot woot. All right, that's good for you guys. So that's the only thing you'd pay up front, and then you never pay that cost again. What you get with that is you get a marketing advisor from my team who's going to do all the legwork, anything you need in terms of putting this together, helping you customize it. They'll hold your hand, make it real easy. And the other thing that we give you there is exclusive rights of your addresses. So anywhere this goes, they're only going to be allowed to get it from you. They cannot get it from any competitors or anybody else. And one brand new feature, this is only about 2 weeks old. Now the mailing list that you give us will also run through a filter that we have and tell you if that person's likely to be a buyer or a seller in the next 12 months. That comes from mountains of data about that homeowner, about their property, about all kinds of things. It's a really good model. It's about 72% accurate. So if we tell you somebody's going to have a need, show them some love. There's a good chance they will. And then the only other cost is just the price per magazine. They're $3.99 a piece. That includes all customization, printing, postage, shipping, delivery. We do all that directly for you. That's all included. I'm just going to say it's less than a Hallmark card, people. Okay, that's what you're getting there. And the minimum is just 50. So you're looking at $3.99 times 50. It comes out to $200. Like I said to Rosie, we do a new one every 2 months. So it's basically $200 every 2 months. Or you could think of it as $99 per month. Just kind of depends on how you budget it out for yourself. But that's it. And you don't pay for the magazines until they're printing. Okay, so if you love this, but you wouldn't be ready to print this for 3-4 weeks because you're redesigning your website, no sweat. We do that at your pace. You pay that cost then. Okay, the one perk you'll see at the bottom, we always offer a trial. It's not free. You still do pay these 2 costs, but it's commitment free. So if you're sitting here and you go, yeah, I could probably use some extra help for the spring and stay in touch with clients, please try us out. That's the whole goal here. Make you some money. If you like what we're doing, we can keep going. We do a new one every 2 months. If you try it and you want to tell me to kick rocks, I'll dry my tears and move on. And that's all good. But we want to show you what we're about and give you that chance for yourself. So that's everything on the cost. The only other thing I'll encourage you guys with, whether or not you're working with us, I really hope you're calling your clients. I hope you're texting your clients. I have seen one of the points of value with this. It gives you a reason to do it. You know, you've got an easy bake an excuse why you're calling. Hey, did you like the magazine? Do you want to keep getting the magazine? They like it. But now you've got a warm, friendly introduction there. Chat it up, shoot the breeze, listen for if there's anybody they know who needs you. And we're hopefully catching some opportunities before your competition scoops them up. So that is everything. I have one perk that I'm going to leave you guys with, but I wanted to see if there was any other questions before I say thank you and goodbye. Anybody else? Any other questions about this stuff?
Is it a corporation who owns this company?
Our company is called Reminder Media.
Oh.
Yeah, our headquarters is in Pennsylvania, but we've got folks all over the country now. Yep, great question. Anyone else?
All right, Nolan, well, thank you so much. Valuable information. Now, for me, this really resonates a lot, especially prior to COVID, when agents were allowed to do open houses. You imagine being in an open house when things get back to norm, the opportunity to showcase your professionalism, but more so the impact of these amazing magazines that are, gloss, great content in it, but more so your brand and your information as a selling point. That's your value proposition. That's going to stand out. That's going to show value in your profession. So it's a great opportunity to take full advantage of this platform. So Nolan, thank you. Thank you so much.
And I should leave you with this too. If there's any of you that are sitting here and go, hey, this is pretty cool. This is all my contact information. So feel free to call me, text me, email me, whatever you prefer. And a little teaser, and then I'm out of here. If there's any of you that think, yeah, I think I might want to try this, something I negotiated with our company president a while back is if you like this and you call me either today or tomorrow, you'll get a bunch of free stuff. So he basically throws in like 15 free magazines for you. It's about $60 a credit, just for not procrastinating like we all like to do. So I figured I'd ask. You can message me on Zoom and I'll stay on the meeting for a minute. But if there's anybody that would like me to follow up, please just tell me and I'll make sure we don't slip through the cracks on you. Is there anybody here that wants me to take your name down right now?
Just a quick question. That 15 magazines just on the initial, or is that ongoing?
Yeah, on the first mailing only. Good question, Aaron. That'd be really nice. Maybe I'll keep working them over and seeing if I can get that. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yep. All right. Well, I'll hang here. I'll let you guys get on with the rest of it. Message me on Zoom if you'd like to talk more. But otherwise, hope you guys have a great spring and hope we get to be part of it. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Nolan.
Thanks.
And try to stay warm out there.
Yeah, thanks. I will. It's 50 today. I'm living it. It's the best it gets.
Awesome. Thanks again, Nolan. All right, let's continue now with the heavy lifting. Our broker, Rich Pisani. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Afternoon. How are you?
Good. So tell us what's new. What's with the Department of Real Estate, California Association of Realtors, and any updates that we have? I see fair housing and discriminatory advisory.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of calls lately about buyer letters, love letters, from the buyer and the seller side.
Right.
And if you, next slide, go to the next slide. So just this year, we had a new form, the Fair Housing and Discrimination Advisory. And that's attached to every contract that you do. It's attached to the listing, it's attached to the purchase agreement. And there's a section, there's actually a couple of sections in there that deals with love letters.
Right.
And section 8 says examples of conduct that may not be motivated by discriminatory intent, but could have a discriminatory effect. So prior to acceptance of an offer, asking for or offering buyer personal information or letters from the buyer, especially with photos. These types of documents may inadvertently reveal or be perceived as revealing protected status information, thereby increasing the risk of actual or unconscious bias. Now, it's important to note that it's offering personal information or letters, because I gave this same talk in to Calabasas and Westside, and I got a question from an agent after the fact saying, well, can I just send my buyer's bio? Well, that's the same thing, whether it's in the form of a letter or if it's the buyer bio, it's personal information about your buyer. So you don't want to do that. So the second thing, the second example is in regards to leases. If you're refusing to rent an upper level unit to an elderly tenant out of concern for the tenant's ability to navigate the stairs, that can be it may be unconscious, but it could be perceived as bias. Now, examples of unlawful or improper conduct based on protected classes, and we're talking about the federal protected classes, not the California state protected classes, because California has many more than the federal. Refusing to negotiate or say a sale, rental, or financing, or otherwise make a housing opportunity unavailable, failing to present offers due to a person's protected class, refusing to show, steering, we've all seen that, blockbusting or panic selling and inducing a listing or sale or rental based on the grounds of loss of value, increasing crime, decline in school quality. These are all they are unlawful if they are against a protected class. Next slide. So here's, in regards to buyer's letter, advice for listing agents: discuss the pitfalls of receiving buyer's letter, which are potential intentional or unintentional bias towards or against a prospective buyer. Written agreement with the seller on how to handle such a situation. I had an agent say, well, I told the buyer's agent that that because of fair housing regulations, my seller is not looking at any buyer's letter. And she said, is that okay? I said, yeah, that's great. You had that conversation with your seller, right? And she said, oh, no, I didn't. Well, we don't do anything on behalf of our buyer and seller without actually talking to them. They are the clients. They instruct us what to do. So you have to have that conversation with them, and they need to be in writing. They need to say whether they will accept them or don't accept them. If they instruct you not to accept them, put it in the MLS. And if you have no written agreement, advise the sellers when you get these, advise them of the pitfalls. Advise to use an objective standard when looking at these offers. And what's an objective standard? Do they have the money to purchase the property or not? That's basically it. And the last thing is the brokerage may not wish to work with a seller who doesn't agree to exclude letters. I think that's a little far reaching. What's more important, if a seller has given you a heads up from the start that they don't want to sell to a particular protected class, then this is not the seller for you, because that puts a major liability into your hands. So, and then on the buyer's side, advise the buyer that using these letters may lead to a seller's intentional or unintentional bias. You may exclude other prospective buyers from equal opportunity or access, and the offer, including the letter, may be returned unread by the signer. And very important, don't assist in drafting these letters. You should not be involved. Next slide. Okay. So when you're dealing with a tenant or a buyer, the objective criteria is basically the location, the features, the price, and that's it. Those are the objective selections. Avoid subjective descriptions of neighborhood, like safe, mixed, poor school district. Avoid using those kind of terms. You use objective info from reliable third parties, like if a certain city has, the police department has a crime map, that's objective. It's from the police department. And schools, get your information regarding schools from a reliable source, and don't be that source. Share the same information, neighborhoods information, with everybody. You're not showing some people one thing and other people another. Next slide. So advise the seller or landlord to use blind selection. What is blind selection? That you're only using the facts as to whether a person is qualified or not. Treat everybody the same. Be conscious and of unconscious and conscious biases. Very important. Ignorance of the law or following the instructions of a seller or owner is not a defense. And turn every mistake into a learning opportunity. I'm not sure if there's one more slide.
I don't think so, Rich.
You don't think so? Okay,
No.
And then the only other, most importantly, is to advise the buyers of this, advise your sellers, and any instructions you need to get in writing. The other things that I wanted to point out is that April 1st, Prop 19 goes into effect, and Prop 19 is tax portability, and CAR has put together a great question and answer website regarding Prop 19. I put the link in the chat. And then the only other thing that I wanted to mention is, I get all these calls about showing time and Zillow. As a listing agent,
you're under no obligation to use showing time. So you don't have to use it if you don't want to use it.
Right.
So, so that's important. But on the same level,
and you should not be advising others not to use it. You have to be careful in what you're saying. It's up to you as a listing agent. You don't have to use it, but don't jump on this bandwagon that I'm seeing. People posting negative things about Zillow and showing time, because that's called restraint of trade, and you can get into a lot of trouble with that. So don't use it. You don't have to. I read something yesterday that there were other companies coming up with alternatives. You don't have to use it, but if it's in the listing instructions by the listing agent that they're using showing time, that listings are coordinated through showing time, you have to abide by the instructions in the MLS. So you have to use it. Okay, that's it for me.
Awesome, Rich. I definitely have one question, and I think you answered it. What if the scenario of these buyer letters, let's just say that you represent the seller, and the seller specifically asked that they want a little bit more information with the buyer, like a bio, and they're distinguishing between two offers. How do you approach those conversations when the seller's asking you for information, a buyer, or something about the buyers?
Well, you need to advise your seller that basing their decisions on personal information of the buyers could lead them to unconsciously to a bias, and could open them up to a fair housing violation if one person thought that they were chosen over another. Somebody sent me an example of a buyer letter that she was going to send out on behalf of her client, the buyer, and my eyes immediately went to, my client is a single mother with a child, and it's like, that is just blatant of you're telling them that their familial status and that could lead to a bias on the seller's part. Don't do
Right.
it. Just
Right.
don't do it.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Any questions for Rich? Yes, Michelle.
Simon, yeah, it's not really a question. I have one thing to add on the leasing side, because 16 years ago, before coming to KW, I worked for a very large multifamily housing firm, and we had 11 in 20 years. We had 11 fair housing suits. Some were arbitrated out, and some actually went to trial because and the apartment association recommended that everyone quit even taking a driver's license when we were showing property, because any picture would cause either, as Rich said, either a deliberate or a subconscious discrimination on their part. And most especially with rental housing, you don't need to have a victim. There are law firms that are on a witch hunt that will deliberately try to get you to say or do something that's in violation of one of the protected classes, and they will file a suit. So you don't have to have anyone that you've actually really perpetrated against. It's
Right.
they're out there looking to sue you. I'm just saying.
Awesome.
Michelle, yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for adding that. Any other questions for Rich? Okay. Well, Rich, thank you so much. Great information. Value you, and let's continue with additional information. So thanks again, Rich, for the updates on what we're seeing in the California Association and the Department of Real Estate as well. All right, let's continue with Chris Rivera, Len US. I was having a conversation with Chris yesterday, and he was telling me, Simon, I got so much updates that I wanted to provide to the group. Let me jump on a call with you tomorrow at our team meeting. I said, absolutely. When it comes to anything that's critical and important to us, to be informed is something that we all need to have. So without further ado, Chris, are you on the call?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can. How
Okay.
you doing? Love the background, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for helping me set that up. Well, hello, team. I really wanted to talk to you guys just about what's happening in the market, kind of the direction, the whys, that sort of thing. I'm sure you're all aware interest rates have jumped and dramatically over the last couple of weeks. There's the good, bad, and the ugly of interest rates. The ugly part of it is it happened. We've seen a dramatic rise in yields. Interest rates have jumped about 3/8 to a half in rate across the board, whether it's conforming, high balance, or jumbo loans. We're now at about 3 1/4 on a 30-year fix at 0 points. We were just at 2.75, depending on FICO score and LTV, just 2 weeks ago. So that's the ugly part of it. It's happened. Really not much we can do about it. On a go forward, the bad news is we're probably going to continue to see that trend go up. We do think there's enough room for it to increase about another 1/4 in rate sometime in the second quarter. There's just so much forces in the bond yields right now that's kind of propelling them higher. So we will see just continuance deterioration in the bond yields, which will then increase rates, and we'll probably hover mid-3s to high 3s for the remainder of 2021. Now, that's kind of the bad news. Just wanted to get it out of the way. But let's talk about the causes and then the direction of the market. So the biggest culprit is probably the vaccination, which was a great thing for us. That coupled with inflation, those two pressures are really what set the bond yields kind of skyrocketing 2 weeks ago. When we talk about the vaccination, it's a great thing for us. Obviously, it's going to open up the markets. People are going to hopefully go back to normalization. And that's really put a lot of pressure on the bond yields to have to entice money to come back into the yields. Even though the feds are buying mortgage-backed securities, they still have seen yields increase dramatically over the last 2 weeks. In fact, we've hit a really high level of support at 1.4 right now. Hopefully we don't break that soon, although the pressures are that we probably will and go all the way up to 1.6. And that's why we think yield, or I should say rates, will be in the mid 3s to high 3s for the remainder of the year. So, it's good and bad with the vaccine. Obviously, interest rates have taken it on the chin because of that. That plus you throw in inflation, that's the arch enemy of bonds. And that's the other biggest component of why rates went up. We talked about this late last year. We knew rates were going to increase in the first quarter just for these two pressures. We didn't know the vaccine would be out this or when it was going to come out, but we knew inflation would be the catalyst of why interest rates went up. So we are seeing that. We can just look at our own backyard with real estate. When you talk about inflation, it's just supply and demand. If there's limited supply and a lot of demand, prices are going to go up, which is what we see here. We have a lack of inventory with low interest rates for the high demand on the buyers, and we're seeing bidding wars across the Southland just for properties because there's a limited supply, and that's the inflation part of it. So it's a good thing for us. I mean, obviously the market's on fire. You guys know that. It's hard to get your offers accepted because there's so many qualified buyers out there that are looking to purchase. It's a great interest rate environment. I don't think 3.5 is a bad rate. I think it's still a great rate. It's just not where it was. When we look back over the last year, a lot of things happened in our industry. Rates were right about where they were at this time last year, 3.25. And I remember the last in office meeting we had here, I was predicting that rates would hit mid 2s. We knew they were going to slide below 3 just because yields were tumbling. And they did in fact hit 2.5. In a couple of days, we're actually below that. Now, when we look at the forecast of the bond yields, we do see them rising just because, again, on the inflationary pressures, the vaccine. I think the stimulus package that will get passed will also add to that. There's only so much debt load the government can purchase through mortgage-backed securities without seeing the negative effect. So those are the causes. So let's look at the good of the entire economy and where it's going to be going for interest rates. Well, obviously, you guys know the housing market's on fire. I read a report just earlier this week that year to year on home appreciation, we've seen 10% increase. They are predicting another 7.5% increase on prices over 2021. That's incredible. That's just because of the pent up demand that we have with the buyers and the limited supply of housing. So that looks great. Now, I have a lot of people that ask me and call me about a bubble and say, hey, I think there's going to be a bubble. Prices are overinflated. At some point in time, this has got to blow up just like 2008. Well, we really don't see that. There's really nothing there that's going to cause a bubble. I mean, what happened in 2008 was really because of the type of loans we had in the belly of our system for our financial markets. We had a lot of stated income loans, no income, no asset type of loans. We were highly leveraged with no down payment. Well, we did away with all that. So really, if you look at what's in our industry in terms of the mortgages that we've written over the last 10 years, they've all been qualified mortgages. So we really don't think that there's going to be any bubble because of that. Then you throw in the fact that we've seen great appreciation over the last 3 or 4 years. People are sitting on a lot of equity. They're not going to want to walk away from that. So we really believe that if they get in trouble, which they probably were, one, they had forbearance that helped them out. And two, hopefully they'll be able to land their job. But if they still are in trouble, they're probably going to be calling you guys to list their home so they can sell and take out what little equity they got or big equity that they have in their house. So we really don't see a bubble being because of that. So we can kind of cross out the bubble. The forbearance isn't really going to hurt us. A lot of the banks now are just kind of putting that on the back end of their loan and not really forgiving the monthly payments. They're just adding to the life of the loan. So basically, there's just another year that's being written onto it. So they're modifying a lot of loans. The government really wants that to happen. So we really don't see anything happening in terms of hurting the market from a bubble perspective. But what we do know is that the yields at some point are going to reach a point where the feds are going to have to reach in again and throw money at the problem. And the reason why we say that is because the Fed's policy really over the last year is really to keep a low interest rate environment. And they need that to happen for a lot of reasons. The stock market has taken off because of it, although it was taken off before this. But because with the low interest rates, it's really allowed people to refinance. It's allowed businesses to go in and grab money so that they can keep themselves afloat. The government can't withstand rates higher, given the fact that they bought so many mortgage-backed securities at a low interest rate. It actually behooves them if they do. So they have to at some point come back in and buy mortgage-backed securities at even probably a bigger threshold. Now, we think that threshold is about 1.6. Now, what does that mean? Now, 1.6 is the rate of return on a 10-year yield at that point. Now, what will happen at some point is the stock market cash will come out of the stock market and into the bonds because the yields are high enough. When that happens, the stock market will go down. The Feds aren't going to like that. Yields are going to go up, and the Feds don't like that because they're paying more on the debt service that they have. So they're kind of going to be caught in a predicament where they're going to have to put more money into bond yields. And when they do, we're probably going to see those yields come tumbling down again, where we saw them, God, between March and August of 2020, we saw them at a level of 0.55. We're at 1.2, or I'm sorry, 1.4 today. So you can see that they've risen. So that's kind of the direction of what we think rates will be on a go forward. We do think that those pressures will be there in the bond market that will cause the rates to go back down at some later time. And I want to be the first out there, although I heard it this morning. It's not my original thought, but we may see rates lower than what we saw earlier this year or late last year. We may see rates on a 30-year fix go below 2.5%. That will happen sometime in 2022 once everything kind of washes away. So bear with us. Rates are going to go up. I don't really think it's going to be that drastic in our market. We're probably going to still see a lot of buyers out there that are going to qualify for mortgages. Now, you may want to revisit your clients, ones that have been pre-approved over the last 3 or 4 months, and just let them know what has happened in the market and that they probably should talk to their loan officer again to make sure that they're qualified for the top end that they were looking to purchase at. I'm here if you guys need me at all. I'm taking a lot of calls for a lot of pre-approvals and having the same discussion with a lot of buyers, just kind of on the direction of the market, what we think is going to happen. So I'm not just trying to pre-qualify your buyers. I'm trying to educate them as well so they know the direction of the market and make sure that they pull the trigger sooner rather than later. So I'm going to open it up to anyone who has questions. And I want to go on to my second part of what I wanted to get out. Today, I really wanted to talk about market interest rates in the direction of, but if you guys have questions, put them into the chat room and I'll answer them at the end. But I also wanted to remind you guys that we did roll out the Before You Sell program for the enhancement loan and the bridge loan. There's been a few people who have already signed it and taken it. I think it's like a 10-minute course that you take, and then you take a test. It's like 8 questions and it's pretty easy. Everyone that's taken it has passed them the first time because it's pretty basic. But it's something you guys need. It's being rolled out now at all of the real estate offices in the South Bay. So it's something you guys need to have in your hip pocket to be able to throw it out to those sellers when you sit there in front of them for the listings. Because in order for them to get into the program, to take advantage of the enhancement loan where they can get $50,000 to fix up their property before they hit market, or to do the bridge loan where they can tap into equity and try to purchase their property, their leg up property, without selling their home. They can only use that if they list the property with you. So that's a great value add for you guys. So make sure that you guys go in and take the training. If you're not sure of how to do it, just shoot me an email and I'll send the link to you so that you guys can go in there and set yourself up. So that's it in a nutshell. That's what I kind of wanted to get out to you guys. It's good to see everyone, at least virtually. I can't wait till we see you guys at the office. Looks like, things are starting to open up. So hopefully our office will start humming again and we can see all the bright and smiley faces on a daily basis. So at this point, if there's any questions, I'll take them. If not, you guys have a great week.
Awesome. I think there's a question for you, Chris. When is the next bridge loan training? I think you answered it. I think you need to send out an email, correct?
Yeah. I think what I'll do is I'll resend another email out to you guys so that you guys can go ahead and access the link. Again, it's a really quick thing. We have a dozen plus people have already signed up and taken the test. It's pretty quick, 10 minutes. The response I get back from the people who took it was really, really easy and fast. So I'll
it's not like taking a state exam, right, Chris?
Yeah, no, it's not that hard. There's just a few questions at the end of it. So
awesome. Beautiful. Any additional questions before we continue? All right, cool. Awesome, Chris. Thank you so much for the updates. All right, let's continue. Spotlight of the month of February. I want to send out a quick shout out to all the new agents that are now part of KW South Bay. So we have Sophia. Sophia, wave at us. Hi, Sophia. Elise, Zoe, Sonia, I'm not sure if Zoe's on. Wendy, Ashley, and Tish. And then we don't have photos for Elaine and also Sam, who joined the KW South Bay. So if you happen to see them, shout out to them. They're now part of the KW South Bay office. So thank you for aligning and being in business with us. We're looking forward to seeing you guys shine and grow. All right, next slide. So family reunion for the agents that had the opportunity to go live last week, family reunion, it was phenomenal. So I just wanted to do a quick recap and get some ahas. I know Sonia was part of family reunion, Aaron and Michelle. So any ahas that you got from family reunion? We'll start with Michelle.
Great. You know, two things that touched me. One, professionally, is just how onward and on course that Gary stays with his mission and vision, how stable that is. There's a lot of chaos going on in the industry around us, with one company absorbing the other and everyone trying to get all the data and all of the, as Gary said, data is the new oil. And he's well aware of that, and he started that charge years ago. And so he's way ahead of the game. I was watching a recruiting piece that Grant Cardone was doing this morning for EXP, saying that he was going to have, the world's largest real estate team and have 100,000 agents in the next few years. And I'm like, dude, that's been done, right? That's been done, and we're way ahead of that. So, so that's a real confidence builder that we're in the right place with the right company at the right time, and we're avoiding all of that hype and all of everybody's racing towards a finish line that Gary Keller's already crossed. So I loved that, and then his statement on diversity and inclusion was a masterpiece.
Yeah, awesome. That was great information. Thank you, Michelle, for sharing. This one obviously was a little different because last year we had the opportunity to go out to Dallas, Texas, to a family reunion, and there was maybe about 17,000 people. And ironically, I mean, we were all in a convention center, rubbing elbows, networking with people. And it just seems like there was, when we were going into the convention to hear the Gary and his guest speakers, it was the most bizarre that I've seen of how many people were just going in steps by steps just to hear Gary Keller. And now this year, virtually being done. Can't wait. And my understanding is that if everything aligns well, that next year family reunion will be in Florida. So looking forward to that. I know Sonia and I were talking about it. Is like maybe we'll go to the Bahamas with a bunch of the agents because it's just a hop, skip, and a jump. And also,
Yeah, I'm just I'm ready. I'm planning it.
yeah,
I'm trying to figure out
absolutely.
if it's before or after family reunion that I'm going to either Havana or the Bahamas. So whoever wants to join me.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, yeah, Michelle. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Michelle. Anyone else, any ahas that you picked up from family reunion that you like to share? Yeah, Aaron, thank you.
You know, I think it was really important the fact that Gary's been preaching the whole database and how we're going to deal with Zillow and all these other companies that have become active in the real estate. It was to me because I guess the past few weeks I've been spending a lot of time in up and cleaning up, and it just simply validated that that work. The other part that I really liked the fact that I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about the marketing, the consistency when we put property on the market, and to have systems that are just kind of like the same. That way there is brand recognition, and that way we can have some or build some market share. And part of by investing in real estate from Gary was important. That if we are to get into investing in real estate, that is, we have to make the money up front, and to make sure that we buy correctly and we buy at the right time, and it's the right property. So, I mean, it was just a lot of information. It was a lot I couldn't get to, but it was great, and I encourage everybody else to do it next time, even in person or online.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Aaron. Good information. I know you came a little broken. I don't know if you're a speaker, but I was able to get some of the information. Now, one thing that I did hear from Gary was, last year, 480 billion in volume closed transactions just with our KW agents. Phenomenal. That's impressive. 408 billion, not million, $1 billion in closed sales volume. That's phenomenal. That shows volume. That shows strength in Keller Williams. So congratulations to all of us for a milestone of doing that. So anyone else that want to share family reunion? All right. Well, let's go ahead and continue.
Wait, hold on. Let me.
Okay.
Can I just say something real quick, Simon? Sorry.
Sure.
One thing that I just wanted to mention, because we also have a new holdings company, and we have Carl, who's been named the CEO of that holdings company.
Right.
And that how that ties into everything. I just this guy used to be the he basically got AutoNation off the ground. He got Home Depot off the ground. He got 24-hour fitness off the ground, among other, great big companies. So General Electric, and really kind of reinvented them with his knowledge of the finance market and technology and all that other stuff. So, he's got some options as to where he can go work. And what he did was he decided to come to Keller Williams. And I think that just speaks volumes on what kind of a place we're going to and what kind of a company we are. And
absolutely.
Specifically after family reunion has been over, if you're watching social media, you'll see a lot of things going on there. And I've never seen more people feel more threatened by Keller Williams than I have in the last couple of days. And as we're moving forward with our technology, what they said is now they're focusing on stabilizing the pieces of command that are already there. It's, you know, we have the building blocks in place. Yes, there'll be some new things here and there, but now they're really honing in on how to make those things that are working in command much more stable. They're going to focus on all of our different divisions of the company. So Keller Williams Luxury, it's getting its own playbook, right? They're rewriting or sort of, I guess, making a blueprint so that it's not up and down everywhere, like in terms of what has been going on. You know, luxury sales were up 33% from 2019 in, you know, the luxury, what we'd consider the luxury market. And so, and Keller Williams agents, I know that there are people out there who don't consider KW as a luxury. They consider some other brands more luxurious. And yet our market share was 34% up from 2019 in the luxury market. So Keller Williams agents are taking more luxury listings than ever before. And we are just, I think there's a lot of people who are threatened by us. And I think it's due to the convenience of what we can provide our clients. And so people pay for convenience. That was my one thing that I took away from there. And so we have the tools, and I think that the future is looking super bright for KW.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much, Sonia, for sharing that. Yeah, absolutely. Keller Williams is going places, and very, very excited with the new leadership in place. So thank you again, Sonia, for providing us with that valuable information. All right, let's go ahead and continue. I know we're cutting it close. It's 1 o'clock. Congratulations to Frank Kenny for capping. So yay, Frank. Next slide, please. All right, Heather. Congratulations, Heather, for capping. Congratulations, phenomenal results. And she was the Rookie of the Year for 2020. So very excited, very happy for her. All right, next slide. Frank Kenny, congratulations for top producer. Good job, Frank. Keep up the good work. Yes. Next slide. And Bianca Mora, congratulations for your first listing. I know she closed on a transaction, I believe, in January. So now she has her first listing. So congratulations, Bianca, on your first listing. All right, James, congratulations also for your first listing. Keep up the good work. I want to see more and more from you. So congratulations, James. And congratulations, Miguel de la Peña, first closing. Yay, congrats, brother. I know I saw him last week coming in, picking up his check. So very excited to see this young man performing. So keep up the good work, continue progressing. And we're here as a support factor to all of you. Next slide. All right, don't miss out the mastermind, many ties, getting more business for your sphere of influence. That'll be Thursday, March 4th from 2 to 3 p.m. You know, we get the calendar out to you on a regular basis. Please be on the lookout. You know, we're sending them out to you. So don't come back and say, I didn't get the email, I didn't get the text. So it's important that you check your emails. And if you're not getting them, please, please, please let us know so that way we can update. Maybe we have your email incorrect or your phone number. So give us the update so that way you are getting the alerts on a regular basis. All right, next slide. And then Friday, March 5th, tax tips, best advice from a CPA. And it's going to be presented by Luis Velasquez, the CPA. He's a well-known, well-respected tax advisor, and he's going to be having a class March 5th from 11 to 12 p.m. Good information and the ability to ask questions regarding your personal taxes as well. So that'll be Friday, March 5th, 11 to 12 p.m. Next slide. All right, we have our KW Tech, how to save, search, share with clients. Jeff Reyes is the Regional Tech Director. You can reach out to him, be on the call. He'll be on March 9th from 10:30 to 11:30. Great guy. I see him on the regional calls. gives great information, avenues to help you grow your command platform. And you can always email him too as well for any guidance and support as well. So that'll be Tuesday, March 9th, 10:30 to 11:30. Next slide. And then what's happening for the month of March, we usually have the 2-week calendar. And the beauty is it's sent out to you on a regular basis. These are all the classes that we have. The beauty is we also combine our training classes with the other market center so we can be more impactful to you and giving you tools, guidance, and support. So take full advantage of it. This is the reason we have the calendar there with all the classes on a regular basis. So please take full advantage. We just finished, Sonia and I had a Ignite marathon, which was conducted on a Saturday. Great stuff. I love them. 30 minutes of conversations with you.